Right, today we're going to take a trip down to Urmston Aquatics. Spud's got a really good batch of peacock cichlids that have just dropped in there. So we're going to go down, take a look. So stick around, see what we get, and find out what the big plans are coming up for the tanks as well going forward. Right, so if you haven't watched Spud's video already, get onto the Manchester Fins channel, subscribe, watch his video. He's just had a big shipment of hand-picked peacock cichlids from an overseas supplier that he uses, and some of the ones that he's got in there are absolutely mind-blowing. So if you're after some decent high-grade peacock cichlids, get yourself to Urmston Aquatics in Manchester and get there quick, because some of the ones I've seen in that video had already been sold this morning, so they're absolutely flying out the door. But I did pick some really nice ones. So the first one I wanted to touch base with is the big golden peacock cichlid here. So I really wanted this fish, as you might already be aware, to add a little bit more of that yellow coloration into my tank, because I'm really struggling to get yellow fish to colour up. Now this guy's quite big already, so the thought process behind it is he should hold his own, he should feel relatively dominant amongst the tank, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he will hold his colour, because a lot of the yellow fish that I get, for reasons unbeknown to me, they just don't seem to do very well. The only one I've really got coloured up is the yellow OB peacock. But I'm hoping this guy, and I'm confident this guy, will hold his yellow coloration. The best one that I've got, which is a fish I've never seen before in the UK, is this guy here. So he looks to me like, I'm not quite sure on what type of peacock he is, but it looks to me like he's either an albino Eureka red or an albino Reuben red. I'm leaning more towards him being an albino Eureka, but the coloration on him is incredible. He's got this sort of pastel blue face with these bright red stripes and striations, really nice spotting on the tail, but like the albino white body as well. So he really is a unique looking fish, and he really stands out in my tank, so I'm really happy with him. They're getting chased about a bit at the moment. If you're familiar with African cichlids, you'll know that obviously when you introduce new fish into the tank, it becomes a bit of a prison riot inside, which is what's happening at the moment. Everyone's establishing dominance because there's new...
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
So yeah, I mean, it's all looking good so far. The fish are looking happy, they're looking healthy, and fingers crossed they start doing well in the tank, and the yellow one holds its colour as well. So you might have also noticed that it sounds relatively echoey in the room. There's things missing, so we finally found a house to move into. So we started packing up stuff. The whole living room is in boxes. Things are getting moved around. There's bits of kit and equipment I've started taking out of the sump that isn't being used yet. So we're going to have to move this enormous tank to another house, which is going to be an absolutely monumental task. Transferring all these fish, keeping all my filter media alive, keeping the bacteria alive in the substrate as best I can. It is an enormous task, so it's not just as simple as putting your fish in bags, carrying the tank out. There's a lot of thought that goes into it, and it's a very stressful thought for me to have to move this display tank. So what I'm going to do is when we do move eventually at the end of the month, I'm going to film the whole process of how I move this tank, how I transfer the fish, what I'm keeping them in while we're setting this new tank up. how we're keeping the filtration media alive. So I think it's a good thing to know, especially if you're keeping big tanks and you're thinking about moving house further down the line. It'll be a good video to go to give you a good way of obviously safely moving your fish without having any casualties, and obviously not being able to set up the tank quickly and efficiently when you move. So a lot of preparation goes into it, but we'll film that whole process when we get nearer the time. It's a few weeks yet before we actually make the move, but obviously we've started packing stuff too to make sure that we're ready for it, because this is going to be a full day's work, just moving this tank and then setting it back up again, transferring the fish into a hospital tank while we set everything up. I can't separate these fish, so I have got a container outside in the back, a big blue barrel, which I'm going to set up as a hospital tank, which I'm going to house all the fish in at the same time. So it has got a big water volume in it, but it's not got a lot of space. It's just a barrel. So I'm a little bit concerned about the fish fighting and nipping each other, but the plan is to only have them in that barrel for 24 hours. The beauty of it is, although that is a stressful process, at the end of it, we're going to have a fish room. So we're going to have my own room where I can put more tanks. So what the plan is to have another tank the same size as this one, where we can separate the peacocks from the predator haps. So we can have a tank which is, just for the predator haps to be in, and then we can have a tank which is just for the peacocks to be in, because I think I'm playing with fire with this at the moment. These fish are relatively small, but I think once these predator haps start getting a bit bigger, I could potentially start having some problems in this tank with the peacocks mixed in as well. Things like your star sapphire and your blue dolphins, they tend to be all right with peacock cichlids, but it's these, it's the eye biters, the rostratuses, the fuscos, the VC10s. They get bulky and they've got predatory tendencies. So I think it's a good idea to separate them and have their own tank. I've already mentioned as well, I've had another tank that's being built, which is due to be delivered this month, which is half the size of this tank. So it's 3 foot long, 2 foot front to back. And what we're going to have in that is some mboonas. So we're going to have a little mboona community in that tank as well. We're going to convert the tank upstairs into a shell dweller display. So we're going to have some Tanganyikan shell dwellers in there. The small tank is going to be used for housing the shrimp. And then I've got another tank in the garden currently waiting to be used, which is what the crayfish is going to go in. So it's really exciting stuff. I can't wait to move. I can't wait to have my own room where I can really start looking at growing the channel, giving everybody a little bit more to look at. And obviously we've got more projects and stuff, more different types of tanks that we can do videos on, as opposed to just filming this one all the time. We can really separate things and start making some good content on different types of tanks and African cichlid. I want to stick with the African cichlids. So ideally I want to do Tanganyikans and mboonas, shell dwellers, maybe frontosas, predator haps, peacock cichlids, and we'll just have some wild room where we've just got full of these different types of fish. So yeah, fingers crossed. This will probably be the last video that I upload for a few weeks, obviously until I've got everything moved over and we're set up in the new house and stuff. But yeah, it's all looking good. I mean, it looks like the channel's going to get better. We're going to have more tanks and more things to do. And obviously more videos for everybody to watch as well.
Boss like communist. No, I can never ever get back all the things I missed. But I'm that man, they think you got the gist. Got your tulips in a twist. Boss like communist.